Scam, fraud, nonsense, rubbish. That's some of the words that are thrown about when people refer to property educators. And it's really sad. It's really sad to see. And it's really sad to hear because, first and foremost, I'm a property developer who does do property education. And I get tarnished with the same brush as other educators in the UK. And my problem is that I practice what I preach. I do daily. I do 2 education videos on the weekend. I produce content 7 days a week, and I have done for the last 200 days and 2 years previous to that. But I still get told by people, Steve, why are you selling education? Why are you doing that? Just concentrate on your developments. Don't be tarnished with the same brush as other educators. And I'm like, I have all this knowledge that I've accumulated over 10 years and all the mistakes I've made, all the things that I've gone through that have hindered my journey, if I can pass them on to other people so it doesn't hinder or bankrupt them, make them in serious trouble with debts and stuff like that, why am I not sharing it? Now, I'm not saying that every educator in the UK is amazing, because they're not. There's 50-50. You have some good educators and some bad educators. You have the ones that just talk a good game, but then you have the ones like me that actually go out, do the job, and then start giving out the information. And top educators have great networks, and we create these worlds around us. I created the property circle. There's a bunch of other educators out there that have created their own networks, and I'm a big fan of only a handful of them. And when I say only a handful, the reason is because I can see through the ones that are talking nonsense and I can see through the ones that are telling the truth, because it's pretty obvious. It's pretty transparent, and it's pretty clear that when someone knows what they're doing and what they're talking about, it's because they're practically out on sites, on multiple developments, and you can see it's clear as day. I think that the property education sector should be regulated. I think that there should be some form of test, which I don't know what the answer is. I'm not here to try and implement any of that. But I do believe that if you're giving education, there should be some rules, stipulations, legislations, and tests and documentation that you have to provide to people in order for people to go, yep, you can teach that certain strategy in property. Will it ever happen? No. Because if you just have to pass a test, anyone can, revise and pass a test. If you have to start showing documentation for what you've done, well, that's where it gets a little bit more difficult, because like I said, a lot of educators out there don't do anything and have never shown anything apart from other people's properties that they then claim to be their own. It's not good. But how do we know when it's on this camera, when it's on YouTube, this platform, what's true, what's not true? Are people really bothered with the truth? Are people more inclined to go with somebody when they show them what the end results are, and they don't really care what you know? It's just you're telling them that the end result will be this if you learn from me. Yeah, that's the way it is. It's the shiny penny syndrome. It's let's get to the end without having to do all of the beginning and the middle and play the snakes and ladders game where we go up, we go down, we go back up, we go back down. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody just wants to get to the end goal. So I don't like the fact that I get tarnished with the same brush, because I don't believe that's fair. But I actually do understand why property education gets such a bad name. Now, I am a member of nearly every property education program in the UK. Not me personally, and not my name, because 99% of them wouldn't allow me in, but somebody in my company or somebody in my circle are members of every single property education's program in the UK. We spent between £48,000 and £52,000 on joining all of the programs. I wanted to see what programs were good. I wanted to see what programs were bad. So when I created my education, I wanted to compare and see what people were doing. Levels above, on a whole different level. Even my basic level of education is on a whole different platform to everybody else's, and there were some really good ones out there. I think we found 3 that was absolutely brilliant. But again, my job is to be number one. My job is to be the greatest. My job is to be the best, and I had to make sure that mine was the best. So competition was checked out, and then I realized there is no competition because I actively do this every single day. That's why we're growing at the rate we're growing. That's why I do the daily, because I can. I don't have to force content. I don't have to find content. My day is just being filmed by my team following me around. So property education, not the best in the UK for credibility, but people like me and a handful of other educators out there are building it rapidly, where potentially a lot of you are seeing through the bullshit, which is key. And for every 1,000 people that buy a terrible education course and 100 people that buy a credible education course, that will grow over the next 3 years. That is something I can guarantee.